Soda woke up in another world as a level 1 drop item from a slime. All his stats are F, but he has a godlike power of S rank drop rate. Soda found himself in a strange and unfamiliar place after hearing a game-like sound. Sizes, because Soda's bigger. Behind him, there's a beast woman, a bunny girl, in that fancy outfit behind him. Of course, Soda asks the most important question. Are those ears real? The girl doesn't reply. She says she hates level 1 people and hits his head. Soda is confused and becomes even more when she turns around and walks away. He returns home after farming and tells Emily that people bought his carrots for 8,000 pylos. They think Emily asks Soda who's the rabbit girl, but he also doesn't know her. He questions if bunny girls live in this world just like regular people. Understand how he took no damage. She gets on her group members and almost kills him with her karate chop. She tells Soda that she used the same amount of strength, but Soda did not take any damage. She questions why he didn't take damage despite being low level. Soda thinks it's probably because his health points is already rank S, but he asks why she came there. She pulls out a carrot from literal heaven and tells that she got it from the dungeon. Soda then remembers that when he and Emily came back, one of the carrots fell off but they didn't see it. Turns out the rabbit girl stole it from them. The rabbit girl is a carrot pervert and wants more of Soda's amazing carrots. She notices Emily not only has carrots in her arms but also on their table. She says that she loves carrots and starts drooling. Emily asks if the girl wants to eat with them, and of course, a rabbit girl cannot refuse a good carrot. Emily shows how she will be cooking the carrots to make noodles and the rabbit girl starts salivating. It's finally time to eat, but first, Sato asks if her ears are real. She ignores his questions and starts digging in, stating that Emily must be a god because her dish is delicious. Soda also praises her cooking, and Emily mentions she prepared enough for them to repeat. After they finish stuffing their stomachs, the rabbit girl gets up and prepares to leave. Emily says that she can visit them anytime, and Soda gets confused. He doesn't understand what just happened, especially because the rabbit girl didn't even tell them her name. Emily, on the other hand, simply thanked Soda. Before she moved there, she had always been alone, but now she's able to enjoy happy moments where she can eat with other people. Soda remembers his previous life and thinks that he was the same as her. He always ate alone at home because he didn't have a family. Emily says that from now on, they should eat all their meals together and Soda agrees. He returns to the Nihonium dungeon, where he upgraded his health points to S rank. He steps into the second level because he wants to become stronger. In this world, he was able to get a warm and cozy life, and he wants to be able to protect it. This new level has zombies instead of skeletons. He tries to kill the zombie by stabbing it with his bamboo spear, but it breaks. The zombie punches him, but Soda finds that it doesn't hurt him because of his health point rank. He starts boxing the zombie and kicks him against the wall, which was enough to defeat it and drop another seed. After catching his breath, Soda picks it up, curious about which stat will be upgraded on this new floor. The seed disappears just like most fathers, as usual, but at least it increases Soda's strength. Soda is happy that this is his new stat until he hears a noise. It's the stalker bunny girl again. He asks what she is doing there, but she karate chops him again. She asks what was that seed drop Soda got. Soda gets worried because everybody thinks this dungeon doesn't drop anything. He knows he's the only one who can get drops because of his S rank drop rate. He doesn't want to reveal his secret, but the bunny girl is staring at him. She suddenly changes the topic and asks if he has carrots. That's when Sato realizes she only cares about carrots. She tells that if he doesn't have carrots then, he gets scared, but she uses a seductive pose and asks dead or carrot. He gets annoyed, yet she only replies that this dungeon doesn't drop carrots. She wants to go to Talulu dungeon and get her carrots, making him promise that he will do it later. She gets extremely happy and disappears. He realizes that she's easy to deal with. You just have to give her your carrot, bro. He managed to upgrade his strength from F rank to D rank in the second level of the Nihonium dungeon. He then killed slimes with his fists to get a lot more carrots than usual. He then heads back to the trading center and sees the rabbit girl waiting for him. He approaches her and gives her a carrot, but everyone around thinks he's crazy. Nobody usually gets near her, because she will literally kill anyone who gives her low-quality carrots. They simply don't know Sato has an S-rank carrot. He's impressed that she simply digs in, and Urza asks him if he knows the rabbit girl. Sato explains he doesn't. He simply gave her some carrots and now she likes him. Everyone around, including Urza, is shocked, and she tells Sato that she will buy his carrots for double the price. Sato is confused, but Urza explains everything. The rabbit girl's name is Eve and she's a strong adventurer. Turns out her killer move is the karate chop named Excalibur that can cut a boulder in half. Urza also says that Eve is a carrot gourmet and that her catchphrase dead or carrot comes from killing people who gave her low-ranked carrots. And since Eve approved Sato's S-ranked carrot, then every carrot he drops will be considered a high-quality product that will be sold for a higher price. He usually got 8,000 pylos per carrot, but now he gets 15,000. He usually drops 30 carrots per day, so that's basically 450,000 a month. He tries to thank Eve for approving his carrot, but she's already down on her knees, asking for more carrots instead. Sato says that he will get her more carrots tomorrow, and Eve replies that she hates him. She tries to karate chop him, but she simply grabs her hand. He manages to convince her that he will get her more carrots tomorrow, and she leaves. The next day, Sota and Emily manage to get a bag full of carrots from the dungeon. He tells her that he will just take a quick look around the dungeon, and he ends up seeing two adventurers fighting a slime. He realizes that they're clearly exhausted from overworking and can barely stand up. Their leader appears and the two hold the slime in place for the leader to defeat it. The leader wants to continue hunting and the two ask for a little rest because they haven't done it in the past 2 days. The old man calls them weak and spouts out random stuff. When he was young, he could spend weeks inside the dungeon without resting, and that's how he got strong. It's clearly BS, he's just exploring young newbie adventurers. The newbies explain they haven't slept, but the old man says that this is helping them get stronger. The two are literally being brainwashed and believe in his random BS. They get up and continue while Sota thinks this is the same situation he was in his previous life. His boss would give him impossible tasks and said it was for their own sakes, but in reality, they were being exploited. Emily approaches Sato from behind and asks if he's fine. He dismisses it and she tells him to take a break to eat lunch. Everything looks great until they hear footsteps. It's Eve running toward them because she wants to eat Emily's lunch. They all share the meal and relax for a bit, until the old exploited appears and comments that Sato's group is a bunch of slackers. He tells the newbies to not become like them. Of course, he's just increasing the brainwashing level. He says that if they're lazy like Sato, their drops will be of low quality. Eve simply cuts a carrot in half and throws it into the newbies' mouths. And of course, the two love it. The old man tries to confront Eve, but he's too weak to deal with her. So, he decides to leave with his pets. She returns to Sota and Emily and continues to eat her carrot. Sato thanked for her help, but she simply karate chops him while saying that she wants carrots every day. Sato and Emily return to the commercial center to sell their carrots. Sota mentions they had many more carrots, but they couldn't carry them all. Urza asked if they didn't have a magic cart. Emily pointed toward one and Urza explained that he can carry more items with a magic cart, this way improving his efficiency. He decides to buy one and Urza told him where the store was. They step inside and ask where the little girl's parents are. She says that her father is modding on the back. She calls her father, who welcomes them. Sota tells the man that he wants a magic cart, and the man gives him his recommendation, which costs 10 million pylos. Sota and Emily cannot believe how expensive it is. The man says that they can buy a normal one for 2 or 3 million, but they're plain. The guy loves to mod and makes expensive carts that come with amazing features, like a monster detection system. Sota realizes he cannot afford a cart right now and must save their money for a while. They head back home until they suddenly hear a guy shouting on the street. They hear that a stray is coming, and Sato asks Emily what that is. She explains that it's a monster created from drops. They can only happen if you leave the drop behind without any human around. Turns out this stray is literally King Kong. The adventurers start running away to evacuate the city, something Sato doesn't understand. Emily explains that nobody wants to deal with strays because they're stronger than normal monsters. Plus, they don't drop any items. Sota notices the magic cart seller and his daughter are also running away. The seller tells that Sota should also run away, but Sota suddenly hears a scream. Urza tripped when she tries to run away, and King Kong is approaching her. King Kong tries to punch her, but Sota uses his strength to block the attack. Eve and her party come to help deal with King Kong and Sato helps Urza get up. She's okay, but the city is being destroyed. Sota then decides that he will kill King Kong because he doesn't want the city to be completely destroyed. Emily is also ready to help him, and the two get ready to act. Sota asks Eve's group to keep King Kong in place, but they don't believe he can deal with it. King Kong picks up a boulder to throw at Sato, but Emily blocks it with her stolen Thor's hammer. Eve and her group manage to block and restrain King Kong's movements. This enables Sota to headbutt the giant gorilla and becomes the new king by punching and destroying the Kong. The locals thank Sota for protecting their city and saving their lives. Sota feels satisfied because nobody ever praised him for anything he'd done in his previous life. Suddenly, he hears a drop sound. He's confused because Emily said strays don't drop items. But at the same time, he remembers that the other dungeon shouldn't be supposed to drop anything. But it drops seeds. He gets close to a light and is shocked to see a super rare drop item. The drop item turns out to be a gun and bullets from Soda's real world. He picks it up and questions how he got a weapon that shouldn't exist in that world. Plus, he got it from a stray, a monster that shouldn't drop anything. He decides to use it and goes to Nihonium Dungeon. He first checks his stats, everything at F except for his C strength and S rank health. His max level is still 1, but at least he's improving while in this dungeon. He returns to the second floor to test if his gun works. He senses a zombie approaching him and shoots it. He finds it amazing that it works on monsters just like it should. More zombies appear, but Soda's aiming skills are still trash. He either misses his shots or barely kills the zombies, until he notices that there's a small problem. He doesn't know how to get more bullets. He reloads the gun and thinks if they will drop from strays too. And since he doesn't know yet, he cannot pretend to be Rambo and waste them. He returns to the slime dungeon with Emily, but the slime evades Emily's attack. Luckily, Soda manages to hit the slime instead of the girl. They make a quick break and Emily says that his weapon is pretty amazing despite never seeing one before. Soda explains that it helps him a lot, and he upgraded his strength to rank B because of it. He asks if she wants to check the third floor after their meal, and she agrees. Soda thinks that he can go to other places or floors once he gets enough stats. Soda finds this life pretty relaxing, but they now need to move to the third floor. He asks if Emily has ever been here, and she replies no. She only knows the names of the monsters and what they drop. They will be fighting cockra slimes to get pumpkins. Soda is annoyed to fight slimes, but he's anticipating Emily's new meals. They move forward and turns out the slimes are cockroaches. Soda finds it disgusting and mentions that girls would run away screaming. Suddenly, he hears a loud noise. He looks behind to see that Emily just smashed her hammer on the ground. He tells her that she doesn't need to go that hard. But turns out, Emily became a complete psycho. She says that tragedy will grow if they don't deal with the enemy. Of course, Soda gets scared. Emily says that she won't let any slime get away, and Soda notices a dark aura around her. She starts smashing the floor with a menacing laugh. But luckily, she returns to normal after getting her pumpkin. Soda then makes his best decision ever to return to the second floor and get carrots instead. They start walking back to the second floor, and Soda thinks they must hurry because he doesn't want to see that version of Emily again. Emily suddenly stops walking and Soda notices something is wrong. He looks to the floor and notices a hole where hundreds of roaches are coming out. Emily turns the psycho mode on and unleashes a stronger dark aura than before. Her last words to Sato are that he might never regain humanity back. Sato tries to deal with the roaches by shooting them and begs Emily to let him take care of them. Emily's twisted side becomes more menacing, making him realize that he cannot miss a shot. Luckily, he manages to use 100% of his brain to concentrate and defeats. Emily returns to normal, happy to see that Soda's pumpkins are huge. The only problem is that they have too many pumpkins, and they can barely take them out. Emily turns dark mode again, saying that the bugs will spawn again. He tries to calm her down when suddenly, their pumpkins get pushed away. Turns out it's Eve asking for today's carrots. Emily's sweet mode returns and Soda thinks Eve just saved him. They take the pumpkins outside and decided to make several trips to sell them. After a few runs, Soda notices some pumpkins were eaten by animals. He thinks that he cannot sell those until he sees Emily's demonic eyes again. She says the roaches are here and smashes her hammer against the floor. Roaches come out of the hole, and Soda gets confused because they're out of the dungeon. Emily gets more intense, but Soda tries to step forward and kill every roach. He shoots some of them but runs out of bullets. Emily is going crazy, so he decides to go old school by using his shoes. He manages to kill every single one of them, and Emily apologizes. She explains she turns into someone else when she sees roaches. He says that it's not her fault, and suddenly hears the drop item sound. He looks to the side and sees bullets on the floor. He gets confused and asks Urza about what happened. She explained that if he leaves dropped items behind where there aren't people around, then monster will spawn. Soda remembers that Emily explained the same thing when they encountered the stray, but he forgot about it. He apologizes for making her wait for the last batch of pumpkins, but she doesn't mind. Soda gets lost in his thoughts about the possibility of forcing strays to spawn and thinks he might get more bullets. Urza is trying to invite him on a date, but since he's too focused on his thoughts, he doesn't listen to it and leaves after thanking her. He puts a carrot on the ground and hides behind a tree. After some time of waiting, something strange happens. Yes, Eve spawned to eat the carrot. Soda tries to explain what he was trying to do, but Eve ignores him. He gets annoyed and decides to try again and again because Eve ate 9 of his carrots. This time it succeeds, and the carrot transforms into a slime. Soda shoots it, and the slime drops 10 bullets. He rushes to his drop and thinks he's the only person who gets drops from strays because of his S-rank drop rate. He suddenly gets an idea. What will happen if he tries to create a stray from the seeds that increase his stats? He returns to Nihonium Dungeon to test his idea, but there's a problem. The seed vanishes when he touches it. He thinks that he might get something from turning monsters with no drops into strays. Since his health is already rank S, he thought he could carry the seeds back without them vanishing away. But he was wrong. He decides to return to Emily and work on his drops. Suddenly, a skeleton appears and they start wrestling. Soda kicks him through the dungeon entrance and thinks it could turn into a stray. But the skeleton vanishes mid-air without leaving any drop. He heads back to Urza to learn more about it. She explains monsters disappear if they leave the dungeon, otherwise they would have strays all over the place. She also explains monsters can also disappear if they enter another dungeon floor. She finds it surprising that Soda doesn't know about it, despite being a strong adventurer. She continues complimenting him, just to find out he's completely ignoring her and got another idea. He returns to the dungeon entrance and waits for a skeleton to appear. He then throws the skeleton outside and shoots it while it's mid-air. His plan works, and he manages to drop something. Soda now thinks that he only needs to kill it outside its floor to count as a stray. And the drop becomes different, it's a bullet. The system informs that he got a freezing bullet. He decides to test it right away on a tree. He then watches the tree frozen inside a crystal of ice. He thinks that this bullet will allow him to have multiple uses. He gets more bullets and returns to the slime dungeon. He can now use the bullet to freeze the slimes, and Emily deals the final blow. She thinks that was amazing and asks what his skill was. He explains that he can freeze whatever he shoots. He also says it's hard to get those bullets, so he cannot use many of them. Emily thinks they're valuable, and Soda replies that he will use them in emergencies. They spend their whole day getting drops and return home at night, but they find 2 people arguing on their way back. Soda tells them to let him pass through, but the old man tells him to pull up some cargo. Emily looks down and notices a wagon. Soda thinks he can probably do it if they find him a way to get down, but the girl tells him to not do it. She says that it's been a while since it fell and that it should turn into a stray. The girl also explains the wagon is loaded with drops from troublesome monsters, and she plans to burn it. But the old man won't let her do it. He hired her to protect him, but this all happened. The old man is a merchant and just cares about his profit, while the girl is thinking about everyone's safety. The old man reveals she's fired and tries to attack her. She manages to dodge it, and they see an aura around the old man and a mask. She explains that is a stray from the wagon. It's a monster called Femini, who doesn't have a body, so they possess humans. Soda thinks he can do something and tries to shoot it. It surprisingly works and drops some bullets. The girl tells them to take the old man and run. Soda asks what she's planning to do, and she explains the wagon is full of Femini. If they don't do something, the monsters will split and head into different directions. She plans to jump down so the monsters can possess her body. She explains this is her responsibility because she was hired as the escort. Soda remembers the time he couldn't help his friends because he was selfish and decides to help her. He decides to reload his gun with freezing bullets and shoots the wagon. He manages to freeze the whole area, giving Emily a chance to jump down and smash everything with her hammer. The girl thanks him for saving everyone and they return. They decide to check Emily's stats first and find out she reached level 20 in one go. They think it's because she dealt the final blow to the Feminas. Emily replies that it's all thanks to Soda and mentions that more good things will happen if she stays with him. Soda tries to dismiss it, and the two realize they feel the same way. For the next few days, Sato decided to explore the 4th level of the Talulu dungeon. Upon getting there, they notice a strange slime. Emily explains this is a rare monster. Sato is confused, allowing the monster to try and flee, but he uses his freezing bullet to stop him and finishes it off with a normal one. But the drop item seems quite strange, it's not food. Emily even states this is the first time seeing a rare monster dropping anything. Since it looks like a necklace, Sato decides to give it to Emily. She blushes, thinking he's declaring his feelings. She says she will treasure it and that she's happy. That's until Soda states that she can now make more money for them. Her romantic moment ended, and she is still confused. Turns out Sato only gave that necklace to her because it will double her drop rate. She gets mad and starts hitting him. He led her to misunderstand the whole situation. Yet, Sato is the typical Japanese guy who doesn't understand what's going on. The normal type of slimes in this dungeon is bat slimes. Yes, I guess Rimuru is the final boss. Emily hammers 4 down, and she drops 8 bamboo shoots. She still cannot believe this double drop rate item. They decide to return home, where Sato notices her preparing their meal. He wants to help her, but she refuses to. He thinks that it must be rough for her to have a small kitchen and tells her that he's thinking about moving out. Emily thinks he's trying to say that he will leave her alone. Sato explains they're making enough money to find a nicer place. Emily understands, and deep down, she's sad. She gets lost in her thoughts and doesn't listen to Sato asking which place she would like to live in, until she thinks about his question and asks if she can go with him. Sato explains she will go with him, but they need to save a bit more money. She returns to the normal cutie Emily and tells him to not overwork. He smiles at her, mentioning he won't, and gets all hyped up because he plans to get more bamboo shoots tomorrow and get money for their new home. Sato then heads to the trading center to sell his bamboo shoots, but Urza mentions they're hard to appraise. Suddenly, a hottie calls Sato and asks if she can have his bamboo shoots. He almost calls her mommy, but he replies that she can have one. The girl takes one and throws it up, followed by several moves that peel and slice the bamboo shoot. They all fall into a plate with sauce. The girl then gives it a taste and almost goes into food wars mode. Sato thinks it tastes bad, but the girl is going mad. Despite being raw, it's not bitter. It's juicy and sweet. Feel free to imagine whatever you want. JK, she says she never had a bamboo shoot like this before. She even cries while mentioning it's like a rare monster of flavor. She asks Soda to sell her all the bamboo shoots, but he only cares about one thing. Who the hell is she? Urza tells him to sell the bamboo shoots to the girl, so Soda accepts the deal. The girl states that she cannot even give a correct price for its flavor and asks him to accept something as her gratitude. Soda thinks she's going to pay him 1 million or something, yet she only pays 20,000 pylos. He is as disappointed as my parents are and thinks that must be a high price for some bamboo shoots. Urza then explains to Soda that girl is Eric Macy, basically the Gordon Ramsay in their world. If she approves his stuff, then people will pay a high value for it. If she doesn't, you're an idiot sandwich. With this opportunity, Urza decides to ask Soda to sign an exclusive contract with their trading center. Soda is confused, yet she explains that his bamboo shots will become famous in the city. So, she wants the rights to sell them as a branded product, Soda's bamboo shoots. He thinks for a while, yep, that's cool, but are they even worth high value? Urza gets close with a big yes and even mentions that she will pay a signing bonus. Soda agrees and decides to trust her as a business partner. After that, Soda returns to Nihonium Dungeon to increase his strength stat. He's happy that it's also almost reaching rank S until he notices someone there. A skeleton is moving toward her and Soda tells her to be careful. Turns out she has a party of 3 men to restrain with the skeleton, while she gives it the killing blow. The skeleton's head flies into a magic cart, making Soda confused. An old man comes to Soda, telling him to not get in their way because Princess Margaret is working. Soda is confused, but in this world, everything is possible. The old man mentions she's using an airbox. Soda doesn't understand, but the old man explains monsters sometimes don't drop anything when they're killed. But turns out that according to recent research, they're actually dropping air. So basically, they're there to scam people. Their whole operation is to kill a monster and drop the air. They then put the air in a box and sell it. And the cherry on top is that they can advertise it as the Princess Air. Soda is impressed with this business model. Who would have thought about selling air? Soda then asks about the magic cart, and the old man explains it allows them to carry a lot of air boxes at once and avoid making several trips. Soda understands it makes life way easier. He wanted to get one, but he needs to talk first with Emily because it's a bit expensive. After getting home, Soda explains to Emily that he's unsure about getting a new house or a magic cart first. Emily replies they should be getting the magic cart first, because it will be more efficient to carry their drops, and it will allow them to get money faster for their new home. Soda agrees, but he's still a bit off because they won't be able to move out soon. Emily mentions she doesn't care because she likes her life with him in their little house. With this, they decide to go to the magic cart shop tomorrow. But after arriving at the store, they hear Olga, the little girl, is crying. They rush inside and ask what's going on. Olga then mentions that her father hasn't come home yet. Soda is worried and asks some questions. Olga mentions her father told her he was going to pick some flowers. Emily mentions the only place where they can get flower drops is in a dungeon called Arsenic. With this info, Soda decides to go to that dungeon to help Olga's father. Upon getting there, Emily explains the monsters on the first floor are called Dandaroks and they don't move or attack. He thinks that will make it faster to find Olga's father, but turns out the monsters are blocking their way. He tries to shoot them, but the bullet bounces off. Turns out that only Emily and her Thor hammer can defeat the rocks. She quickly kills all rocks and drops the flowers. They hurry up and try to find the old man, who turns out to be snoring. Soda gives a slap to wake him up, but it doesn't work because he's sleeping like a rock. That's until Dark Emily comes back to life. She's so mad this dwarf made his daughter so worried, just for him to take a nap. She tries to hammer him down, but he wakes up and asks what's going on. Yet, he only makes Emily angrier when he mentions that he was taking an amazing nap. He ends up apologizing, and Soda asks what the dwarf is doing here. He explains he's here to get parts for his new magic cart prototype. He got some of the materials but couldn't get the last one. But the Dandorox blocked his path and he couldn't go anywhere, so he took a nap. The dwarf tells Soda to look up, where he sees a flying rock. He explains that they're rare monsters, who are light enough to fly, so he can't reach them. So Soda has an idea, a dumb one. He makes Emily climb into his shoulders and complains about her weight. I'm joking. It's her hammer's weight. She then smashes the rare monster with her hammer, and they drop the flower the dwarf needs. To be fair, it would be easier to use a freezing bullet on the monster and it would fall into the floor. The dwarf then goes outside and decides to turn the bloody drop into a stray monster. After a while, the drop transforms into a monster and tries to fly away. The dwarf can't catch it, but Soda is now stealing my idea to use a freezing bullet. Guess what? It works. The dwarf is happy as hell and decides to return to work on his new magic cart, just to offer it to Soda and Emily, who try to refuse because it's expensive. The dwarf explains he's giving it to Soda because he protected the town against the stray. Olga tells Soda to take care of the cart, making him accept the gift. The next day, they return to the dungeon to kill monsters and place the drops inside the cart. They quickly fill it until max capacity, and Emily mentions they got gathered twice the amount of bamboo shoots than usual because of it. Soda then decides to sell the drops to Urza, while Emily decides to go home to prepare dinner. Upon getting to the trading center, Soda notices Urza in a tight situation. Turns out there's a guy who claims that he brought enough drop items to get paid 10,000 pylos, but Urza claims the value is less than that. The guy is aggressive to everyone, and even tries to scam Urza for 20,000 as compensation for her mistake. She refuses to, mentioning he didn't bring enough items to get the value he's asking for. The guy decides to punch her, but Soda cannot let a girl take a hit. So, he shoots the guy with a freezing bullet. He tells the guy that Urza would never lie about the price and decides to prove it. He takes out all the bamboo shoots he stored in his magic cart and goes to Urza. She gives him the guy's items and tells him the base price of each. He sets up the price of each item on his cart and stores them. This unique cart can calculate with precision the total price of its store items, and turns out Urza's price was right. The guy accuses Soda of helping the trading center run a scam and tries to punch him. Soda stops the fist and tells the guy he needs to take a nap. He slaps the guy so hard that he flies against the wall. Urza thanked him for his help, mentioning he's been helping her since he arrived there. But she doesn't want to depend on him. Soda mentions everyone needs help. She helps him every day by buying his items with a smile, and she cheers for his success. So, if he has the chance to, he will protect her. Hearing those words, Urza gets the courage to get near him and kiss him. Of course, he doesn't understand what's going on and freaks out after getting kissed. She then heads out to continue her work. For the following days, Soda and Emily return to the dungeon to get more items. He mentions that before, they used to make trips to only herd 20,000 pylos, but now, each of their trips net them 10 times more than before. They make so much money that now, they can buy a new home. They return and start packing their things. Emily mentions it's a bit sad, and Sato mentions all their memories. Soda then decides to keep the current house, in case they miss it and decide to come here again. Emily thinks it's expensive to rent 2 houses at the same time, but Soda mentions he's been working hard for this. She accepts his decision, and they move on to a more luxurious and spacious place. The only problem is that Eve followed them. Turns out a rabbit can sniff Soda's carrot from far. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.